So, Dragon Ball Super is on a week's break again, so to give me something to do this week, we're going to finally once again revisit that hypothetical scenario of what if nowadays, instead of following Dragon Ball Super every week the same way we do now, with fan subs and with no indication of what's going to happen next, what if the same thing happened when we were originally following Dragon Ball Z? Hello everyone, my name is Gabby, the year is 1990, and it's time for another Dragon Ball Z review. This time reviewing episode 60. In the clutches of Frieza's men, Bulma has her Dragon Ball taken and is about to be taken to Frieza herself, but she convinced the grunts to try and get the Dragon Balls for themselves, not leaving it for Frieza. She lies and says that they're found at the bottom of the ocean. They force her to show them where they are, and she leads them into a trap, where they get attacked by another one of the giant crabs. Bulma manages to escape with her Dragon Ball, but she really wants Kuririn to come back. In the meantime, after 4 days, Gohan and Kuririn are so close to the Grand Elder that they decide to use their maximum speed. But this was a bad move, as Vegeta senses them immediately and is on their trail. According to Filler Watch, almost everything about this episode was filler, except for those brief moments with Kuririn, Gohan, and Vegeta at the end. So, what did I like about this episode? Well, first of all, I've got to say I enjoyed Bulma a lot more than I enjoyed her last episode. In this episode, in the fact that, well, first of all, it feels like she's way more important to the plot this time because she actually gets caught by Frieza's forces. It's not just her struggling around with Namek's wildlife. The Frieza's forces find her and the Dragon Ball and are going to take the Dragon Ball for themselves, and it's only through her intervention, by basically outsmarting them, that she's able to keep the Dragon Ball for herself in the first place. It feels like it's a close call, and it also feels like Bulma's actually relevant to the plot, that she's actually helping to kind of overpower Frieza's forces and sort of make sure that Frieza doesn't win in her own unique Bulma sort of way. It was also nice that, that giant crab thing from the end of episode 59 felt basically completely pointless, but the fact that they brought it back and had Bulma use the giant crab as a way to kind of just make Frieza's grunts go into a trap, and the fact that the giant crab does end up saving her from them in the end, makes it feel like that entire thing last episode wasn't completely pointless, because it did come back. I mean, it doesn't make it any less stupid, but at least it's a consistently stupid thing. Actually, I'm not sure if that's better or worse, but either way. As for what I didn't like about this episode, well, first of all, Bulma is still really annoying and kind of whiny. She's just constantly whining, I want to go home, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm gonna die, this is the worst thing ever, why can't Kuririn and Gohan come back, I don't want to be on my own, blah 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 blah. To the point that even Frieza's grunts are just getting really pissed off at her, and her constant, just whining all the time. I know this is kind of generally what they tend to do with her personality, but this episode could have been the episode where they tried to redeem her a little, give her a bit more, intelligence, and have her whine a bit less, because she knows that this is important to get these Dragon Balls and trying to get away from that Frieza guy. It would have been really nice if they characterized her a little bit different, and they didn't, and that was a shame. Also, I honestly, kind of a nitpick, but I feel like the grunts, the Frieza grunts, honestly, were a bit bland for my taste. They didn't really have much of a personality. And I guess while it was kind of interesting that they didn't even seem to know what the Dragon Balls actually did, and it's kind of part of the course that the kind of, the big bad Emperor generally has these really dumb grunts who don't understand anything and easily get led into traps, but they were there the entire episode, so I thought it would be nice to give them a bit more personality than just generic bad guys, but whatever. And disregarding the filler stuff, the fact that at the end, after 4 days, Kuririn and Gohan decide that they're gonna actually start flying at full speed to get to the Grand Elder's place even faster. I mean, I understand Kuririn's reasonings, that he's worried the Grand Elder's gonna die before he can unlock Gohan's potential, and also the fact that it's been 4 days and no one has showed up yet, and the fact that Goku is going to arrive soon, but really? The fact that, the moment that they start using their full power, Vegeta senses them almost immediately. So, I don't know if they know how well Vegeta is good at this key sensing, but, the fact that they willingly do this, and then that directly leads to Vegeta finding out where they are, at this point, it's just it was completely 100% their fault, and they could have avoided that issue if they had just continued the great they were before, because Vegeta hadn't found them then, but now Vegeta has found them, and God, who knows what's going to happen. Because Vegeta's stronger than them, by far. I mean, I even if Gohan gets his potential unlocked, I don't think he's a match for them, so, at this point, they're in danger, and it's entirely their fault. As for next episode, looks like the Ginyu Special Corps are finally arriving after quite a few episodes of that foreshadowing. So they're going to arrive on Namek, and I guess they're going to try and find the Dragon Balls, and Gohan is going to get his potential unlocked by the Grand Elder, and after that, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe it seems like Vegeta is going to try and fight them as well, so it seems like the main characters and Vegeta have a common goal right now. Like, I'm really interested because the plot feels like it's really like getting intense, back to like the real intense fights kind of stuff, because, you know, we've had like at least kind of like the last sort of 5 or so episodes has been a lot of just kind of hide and seek really of the Dragon Balls, but now it seems like when the Ginyu Special Corps are arriving, it seems like they're going to get involved in fights to try and make sure that they don't get the Dragon Balls, so that's going to be a lot more interesting, especially when Goku arrives. I really want to see what's going to happen next. So that was Dragon Ball Z episode 60. I mean, for a mostly filler episode, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I felt like Bulma was a lot more involved in like the main plot than she was in episode 59. Basically, this episode was better than episode 59, although that's not saying that much. It was still mostly pointless filler, and I'm just kind of, you know, it is very annoying when you're just like, okay, alright, are the Ginyu Special Corps arriving yet? No. Have they arrived the Ground Elders yet? No. But either way, it looks like at least next episode we're going to get some stuff. So this episode was a little bit pointless, but there was some interesting stuff, and it wasn't as bad as last week, basically. So either way, as you can tell, I'm very looking forward to next week, and hopefully the stuff that they put in will be very interesting. So this is Gabby, signing out, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys. It sure is funny that, like, these episodes for me to Dragon Ball Z review were like completely done by random number generators, and out of 3 episodes so far, they've all been mostly filler episodes, completely by random. It just shows you just how many episodes you have to get through in Dragon Ball Z for the plot to actually progress. I mean, it's 291 episodes. Dragon Ball Kai managed to cut it almost in half in terms of running time. So, you know, it does make you wonder, if we had to sit through Dragon Ball Z every week, would we just get like bored of the plot not doing anything? Like, would we just give up when we started getting to like a filler arc, like Garlic Jr.? Would everyone have just given up watching and be like, okay, tell me when like Frieza actually shows up again. Tell me then I'll start watching Dragon Ball Z again. It's just really interesting to think about. And it's also interesting to think about how the fandom would have reacted if their first exposure of Dragon Ball Z would have actually been kind of like fan-subbed and not the dub with all of its inconsistencies and dub issues. But either way, it's very interesting, and of course, I am also really looking forward to Dragon Ball Super next week, because one thing I do know about Dragon Ball Super is week by week, it generally does progress the plot. That's one thing that we can give it credit for, no matter how many issues we have with it.